Philadelphia has too much traffic and too many consistent potholes and not enough funding for public transit.
Philadelphia has like too much poverty and I want to say like not enough opportunities like for jobs.
Philadelphia has too much violence and not enough community.
Philly has too much trash and not enough, I would say, good support or a good community. They'll be like, I don't know, they'll talk about the trash, but they won't pick it up if they see it or something, like being so negative towards each other.
Philadelphia has too much poverty and not enough resources. They definitely need help with food right now. Food banks are really being taxed since the SNAP benefits have gone away. Philadelphia also is facing a housing crisis because of a lot of gentrification, rent going up, taxes going up. It's hard for home stability. Philadelphia also has a bit of a mental health crisis because although people are trying to reach out for support if they have depression or anxiety or anything that's going on, studies show that there are not many health professionals that specialize in mental health in this city.
And now, a glamorous dancer in a special number, Dance of Tomorrow.
Everyone says the future is strange, but I have a feeling some things won't change.
Firebird 2 to Control Tower. We are about to take off on the highway of tomorrow. Stand by.
Something that I wish I had more of was money and just like really just like opportunities to like play music or like, you know, do something for my community. I play classical music and like rock music.
I would say more support in the school systems. I don't feel like it's enough. The teachers are very grumpy. They don't really ask you if you're okay. So I would say probably support in the education area, school area.
Probably, yeah, going back to that community. I think every day people, just like the type of spirit that everybody has, like when it comes to being unified and stuff, that really like changes people, changes environments and everything really.
Something in my life that I wish I had more of, I would say energy. I wish I had more energy. I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do all the time, especially on campus, and I don't always have the time or the energy to do it. But I wish I had more to take advantage of more of the opportunities around. Probably try to go to the Philadelphia Sketch Club. That's been around for like over 100 years. I'd probably try to do more networking opportunities as an art student, both in the school and outside. I do a little bit. I would really like to do more and like do some sort of like some of the like museum activities that happen at the PMA and stuff. So I definitely take more advantage of more like socializing.
I wish I had more time, more energy to help people because I'm getting older. I'm going to be pushing 60, and I find that I can't do as much as I used to. So if anyone out there is listening can make me young again so I can do more good stuff, make it happen.
I was feeling really disconnected from Christianity and Catholicism.
Well, actually, I was raised in a Chinese Christian church.
And I had a couple maternal figures outside of my family who were more into this type of spirituality. And just seeing how they operate, seeing their energy, it made me want to learn more.
I met my teacher in the early 1970s. I really connected with him in a certain way. And so I've been connected to the Shambhala community ever since then. Well, I'm a teacher. I'm one of the senior teachers at the Shambhala Meditation Center in Philadelphia. And I've been practicing Buddhism for a really long time, since the 80s or 70s.
So I teach people how to attract what they want using manifestation, mindset, and magic combined. And when you have these three parts, attracting what you want is super, super easy. Everything's online, and sometimes I do Zoom sessions. And ever so, not so often, I'll do in-person workshops.
Going back to the historical Buddha lived about 2,600 years ago, and the core teaching that he taught, his initial teaching was called the Four Noble Truths.
Four Noble Truths. All life is suffering. All suffering arises from craving, selfish desire. But if this self, this craving is extinguished, all suffering will cease. This is nirvana.
As a Buddhist, I believe that everyone has this awakened potential, awakened heart. Part of our practice is to recognize that and then draw that out for ourselves, that heart of compassion, and also recognize that in others. Just appreciating what we have in our world.
My beliefs are definitely polytheistic in a sense, but personally what I believe at the very core is that I am an extension of God, Source, the Creator, and because I am an extension of the divine, I have the ability to attract, to manifest things into my life. So the mind learns through repetition. If you, again, are in a situation where you've experienced lack in your life and you haven't had enough, so your mind is programmed because you've just been responding to life. It's not your fault, but that's how your mind is wired and programmed to look at the lack and then think in terms of lack. So you have to choose new thought patterns and think them repetitively.
Yeah, I guess the first thing I'd say about abundance is that in my training we see there's two sides of every kind of everything. So abundance could mean really nice gatherings where we meet our friends, have good food, enjoy ourselves. But equally, abundance could be claustrophobic. It also sometimes brings up our what we call poverty mentality. So we say, oh, that person has that really nice house or those really nice clothes or whatever it is. Why can't I have that? So you could have these jewels in our lives of spirituality or material things, and they could also have all those different dynamics upon us.
Really, it means to understand that you don't have a limitation. Everything that you want or anything that ever could be is a possibility, a potential for you. We have the idealism, and then we have the realistic portion for most people. And a lot of people do feel like, okay, I don't have enough money, there aren't enough options for me in terms of what I want for love, or there aren't enough opportunities for me. So that's a real thing that people feel. And the thing that I respond to usually with that is, or how I like to respond to that is, you can create a concept in the spiritual realm through your thoughts. The spiritual realm rules over the physical realm. So if you just take a chance on yourself and say, even though my circumstances right now look like there isn't enough, there's scarcity, and I don't have access to abundance, and I do have all these limitations, even though that might be my current situation, I'm going to choose to think in a way that's going to open me up to see differently. Because if you keep thinking in a way where you're noticing, okay, here's all the scarcity, the lack, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough food, whatever it is, you keep thinking in that way, your mind, even though you're looking at it right now and it seems like, okay, you're just observing the present, what you're doing is you're sending out a signal, and then the universe is going to respond to that. And then the next moment is going to be something that matches the signal that you just put out a couple moments ago. It's not so much about ignoring your reality or saying that that's not a thing or trying to downplay it, because it's a very real thing. But when we're talking about this from the manifestation and spiritual lens, you do have to think beyond it.
There's not a promise that if you do this, then you'll get that, because there's so many intervening factors. And understand at the same time that this world is full of suffering, but that to understand that there's no straight line to the relief of that suffering. In unpacking the different layers of our suffering, that we may encounter things that, are just not what we expected, I guess you could say. So it's sort of a little detour.
I think a lot of times you have to give people what they want, and then you give them what they need. So a lot of times on the surface, it does seem like that you're bringing in money or love and these more physical, tangible things. But along the way, to actually receive the thing, you have to also have that emotional abundance, that spiritual abundance, that part of you that says, you know what, I am enough. And then the cool thing about that is when you really, really, truly believe that you are enough, then you start to have all of these other things that you want, because you thought that maybe they would complete you, but you choose to think, I am enough first, and then they just come in. That's how it works. And that is abundance, right? Is knowing that you are enough and that you don't need things outside of yourself.
If I had a city or a world that was full of abundance, I would say everyone was kind to each other. It was no negativity. I feel like the school systems would be a lot better. It would be no homeless people. I don't like drugs at all, so it would be zero people with drugs. I would say everyone had a home to live in. It would be a very positive world. I feel like the world is too negative, so it would be very positive. Everyone would have somewhere to go to.
So I am a Christian, right? So read the Bible, obviously. Think about heaven. Think about the new earth and stuff like that. Like the world completely cleansed of all like wickedness and just like deceit and everything like that. So that's like the ultimate thing. But like probably here on Earth now, realistically speaking, probably like a place where young people come together, not on their phones, and then they're just like communicating with each other and stuff like that. I think that's really cool.
For me, especially as a disabled person, it would look like ease and having more flexible time to do things. It would look like having a lot more space in terms of space on transit, space on the street, like not having to like navigate crazy broken sidewalks and all of that kind of stuff. Abundance, you know, it would just, my life would feel like a little easier and a little easier to prioritize things in the way that I want to and have the energy and the resources to do so, if that makes sense.
Well, my number one concern has always been food insecurity, whether it's on a global level or right here in Philadelphia. I was appalled when SNAP ended because food is something everybody should have. And I think that for me, abundance would just be seeing everybody having something to eat.
In 2022, over 15% of Philadelphians experienced food insecurity. The rising cost of living and stagnant, low wages have created a sense of food scarcity in our city. But food isn't actually scarce in Philly. We have tons of food coming into the city every day, and much of it comes through the Philadelphia wholesale produce market.
We have 18 separate wholesalers here. This building was built in 2011. Although produce has a long storied history in Philadelphia, we've been around since colonial days. We're open to the public, which is a rarity for wholesale produce markets. Many of them you have to have a business license. We want to make produce available to everyone. So if you're a mom having a party, or if you are in a neighborhood co-op, you're welcome to come in and share with your neighbors.
Mushroom, onion, ginger, garlic, potato, a lot of potato. Let's go, let's check it out. That's the guy behind the scene, I'm telling you, Mikey Mushroom. If you ask anyone in the market, say, who's Mikey Mushroom? They will say EWK. The first guy right there. He sells all the mushroom. Competition buy from us, That's how good our quality is.
We do all fruits and vegetables. We concentrate on the high end, so a lot of the best stuff you can get, we focus on having that. 75% of our business is retail, to small retail, and 25% is to people that supply restaurants. We get produce from all around the world. Like right now, these grapes are from Peru. The apples there are from Washington. These apples are from New York. So we have from near and far, all year, all around the world.
Yeah, we do have a wide variety today. And some hot items and some not hot items. So this week, yeah, definitely there's a little bit of push for business, specifically because we're closed for like 4 days. So when you're closed for 4 days and people need to get their stuff, it all comes in at once, like the rush.
So you have to try to sell all of it before you guys are closed?
That's the goal.
Yeah.
It's kind of the goal every week on Friday.
So on those days when the merchants can't sell all their produce, where does the rest go? First, it's collected by a nonprofit organization called Sharing Excess, which is located right inside the market.
So I'm Olivia. I'm the volunteer manager here at Sharing Access. Everything that comes through this sorting room is all donations that come from those distributors. So everything tends to be surplus food. Some of it is a little science project-y. Other times it is, and I would say most times, it's still really gorgeous food that would normally just be going to waste and turning into really noxious greenhouse gases that go into the atmosphere. So everything that comes in here, we sort through, and then we take everything that is gorgeous, delicious, respectable food, and we give it back out to the community. We work with over 500 partners all throughout Philadelphia. This is headquarters for us. We work with community centers, churches, community pantries, YMCAs, small organizations, big organizations. We rescue about 2 million pounds of food per week. And right now we are, I think, floating right around 190 million pounds that we have rescued to date. We're trying to get to that 200 million by the end of this year. So we're very excited about it. And PWPM has actually been a really huge part of that.
Around the city, there's a growing number of food rescue groups, working daily to redistribute excess food in the community. One hotspot is the People's Kitchen, located on 9th Street in South Philly.
McGregor, and I manage the kitchen here at the People's Kitchen. We have a lot of community farms, community gardens, urban gardens that we work with. Sometimes we just have a lot of donations of pre-frost harvest, which is what we're working on today. We're chopping up a whole bunch of green tomatoes and peppers and onions and stuff and making green tomato chutney and green tomato relish. Yeah, just little pantry items that we get to make sure nothing goes to waste at the end of the year when people are having to clean out a whole bunch of one thing in the garden. Each day we, at around 3, we do about 100 hot meals out here. And we also do at least 50 to 75 servings of fruit a day. And then in the wintertime, we also do hot soup, things like that, so just to keep people warm. We have Paul, who's running most of our weekdays. And then on Mondays, we have a group called Punks with Lunch who runs the meal. And then on Saturdays, we have Food Not Bombs who runs the meal. So we kind of work collectively with a couple of other like-minded organizations, and they cook out of our kitchen. They leave some meals here for our community, and then they do their own distribution down in Mifflin Park. We also, in addition to doing the hot meals and the fruit and the soups, we manage the South Philly Community Fridge. That, along with their volunteers, I would say we support that organization. And we get a lot of deliveries here that are just for going to the fridges. So we work with them to take that food, make sure that it's been treated, safely and correctly, and then we may package that food and put it in the fridge so that it's ready to eat meals and things like that. But we also get donations from Target and ShopRite and local grocery stores, South Philly Food Co-op, things like that. The other big organization who's been super supportive of us is Sharing Excess. We can make an order kind of through their website and go pick that up, and they will just bring it out and load it into the car. So in addition to the sort of rescued food, we get an order every week. Oh, that's what all these big boxes are over here. We got a big order from Carversville Farm, which is this amazing nonprofit that's up in Bucks County, who their entire mission of their farm is that all the food that they grow, the chickens that they raise, the beef that they pasture, it's all organic produce. They give it all away. We are here in what, it's called, I guess, the Italian market, but we're south of Washington, which is a lot more Latino. But it's also very Asian and Southeast Asian in particular. We serve a lot of that population, a lot of Spanish speakers from Mexico and Central America and things like that. And then a lot of seniors in general, because the thing about SNAP benefits, which have been cut now at this point, but you can't use those benefits for a hot meal. So if you're an elderly person who's not particularly able-bodied, or maybe you don't cook or whatever, it's just really difficult to buy food and cook for one person. And then we started our fruit program because around 2-3 o'clock we see a lot of younger families and stuff who are coming through. So we wanted to make sure we targeted that population with foods that would be particularly appreciated by children and families and things like that. What we mean when we say food sovereignty is just people having control of their own food. Food sovereignty is about power, and food scarcity is really, a method to keep people down and to keep people, oppressed and desperate and scared and in line. So we are not shy about saying that is, cruel and is unnecessary for people to have to struggle for food and to be unsure of where their food comes from. And food sovereignty means particularly people not just having access to food, but them having control of their food system. Part of that is getting a lot of the community involved, so that it's not reliant on one person. It's not a top-down kind of approach. A lot of, the food rescue stuff is really where we're trying to get as much people like in the community involved, teaching people those kind of almost like scavenging skills, of like figuring out all this like excess waste in the community. Like we have all this excess food. Why are people hungry? Why do we have food waste on one side and, and scarcity on the other? And there's no way to explain that except for, power and, creating demand, it's like capitalism and things like that. So we really believe, that food is a human right, not just any food too. It's also thinking that, even when people don't have money for food, they still have the food that they want, and they should be allowed to have, their own culture considered, their own personal preferences and things like that considered. And so we really make an attempt here at the People's Kitchen to really pay attention to like culturally appropriate foods, the kinds of foods that people want to eat, and the kinds of foods that people, are accustomed to, so that they're allowed to have help, have aid, but stay close to their culture and have food that has meaning. So food sovereignty is also about eating what you want to eat and not what somebody else thinks that you should eat.